It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show. And now the host, Calvin Logan.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan. It's an honor and a privilege for you watching here at the Logan Power Show. Make sure you always check us out at www.theloganpowershow.us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor here at the Logan Power Show. We've been over 650 shows in 8 years. So this is a special episode here at the Logan Power Show. This lady here is an icon in the Low Country. She's an icon up north. She come all the way from Queens, New York, where they know her as Z93 Jamz. She's called the Queen of the South, but we call her Miss Riecy G. Yes, the one and only Miss Riecy G. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for such a fabulous introduction. I love it. I didn't know I was called the Queen of the South.
Like I said, I've been listening to your radio, Z93 Jamz, for a while. I've been listening for over 10 plus years. I know that you should come on. Motivations, always encouraging, and it's always good to see somebody who looks and embodies us, that always talks about the community and always tries to strive for greatness. You know, honor is honor's due. So that's why I want to give a shout out to the person who I believe who's making a huge difference in the Low Country.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad to know that my work does not go unnoticed.
Oh, honor is due. Like I said, for yourself, you come from humble beginnings. They said in 2001 is when you first got started. You've been in the business for over 20 plus years, which I believe is a blessing. Transition over to the good old Z93 Jamz. Definitely making that transition there in 2006. So right now, been in this for 16 plus years. I know a lot of people, radio has evolved, it's changed. You know, you got streaming, you got people who can watch your social media, they can check things out. So tell us from your personal perspective, how has radio changed the kind of person you are today and the woman that you become?
Well, as far as how radio has changed, I think the times for me has changed in regards to how I approach my radio show and what I believe is most important to deliver to my listeners. So, you know, back in the day, it was just more about, it was always about community, but you know, we focus more on the contest and more on the content of radio, of music. But as we are dealing with some challenging times right now, especially for us as Black Americans, it's important that, to me, to be more cognizant of the things that's going on in the community and what's going on in the nation that's going to impact us here locally. So while the source of what we do in radio is mainly to provide entertainment, I had to fuse in that aspect of it to be able to be a source of information to my listeners. Because as you mentioned, just for me, I'm busy, but everybody's busy, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people don't have an opportunity to keep up with everything that's going on around them, whether it's locally with just news stories or resources that are available to them, or just being a source of motivation for people to get through their day, because life is hard, okay? It's hard for me, you know? And when I first took over my radio show, I remember my manager at the time, he was like, you don't have to continue, you don't have to do motivation, because that was an element that was already being done on the show. And he said, you don't have to do that. And I said, no, I want to do it. I'm going to do it because people need motivation on a daily basis. I need motivation on a daily basis. So I often say to my listeners, as I'm motivating you, I'm also motivating myself. And what I did with that aspect of the show was turn it into something that was mine, although it was something, a feature that was already existing. I took what I saw people going through personally that I know, or just even in my own life. And I'm like, if I'm going through this, or if they're going through this, surely people that are listening to me, some of them are out there going through the same thing. So I try to touch on life issues to be that source of motivation to help people get through whatever it is they're getting through, or just get through another day, okay? So I think that's how radio has changed for me. in regards to just being more conscious of what's going on in my community, what's going on in the nation, and making sure my listeners are aware of those things.
Well, as we talk about being very conscious, you're very conscious of what goes on in the Black and brown community. You always bring addressing, if it's social injustice issues, you're bringing like education, what things we need to be doing. You're in a competitive arena. Radio is not easy. Like people make it sound like, oh, I can get up there, I can just say my voice, and a million people are going to listen to me at one time. How has it been for you? Because not only you're African American female, but you're a female as well. And the females and males is sort of like a gender gaps. And plus, when it comes to people that are African American, it's kind of hard for us to have like a strong voice, but you keep our voice constantly. I hear you always repeating that you want us to be in the forefront. So do you, for your personal experience, do you see yourself as one of the pioneers of putting yourself out in the forefront these past, so like I say, at least the past 15 plus years, in your personal opinion?
Well, locally, I can say that. On a national level, I'm sure there's more people doing the same thing, and even on a bigger scale. But locally, yeah, I try to be, because of the issues that we as Black and brown people are dealing with, and how important it is for us to be involved and to know about the things that are out there that are for us. And, at the end of the day, if I can impact somebody's life in a positive way, if it's just one person, and I know that sounds cliche because a lot of people say that, but that's what makes my job complete and whole. And, like I said, when I first started, it was about community. We've always been about community, Z93, but it was about entertainment. It's about concerts. It's about us putting on our own concerts. It's about big prizes and flyaways and trips like that. Now, that's one thing that radio has changed. We don't do as many as flyaways and those trips that we used to do back in the day because the industry has changed. So with that being said, it was always important to me to make sure I'm connecting with my community and making sure that I am at the forefront of what we need to be doing here locally in radio, especially Black radio, because Black radio has always been an important aspect in the Black community, because it is our way for our community to know what's going on in the community. And that's just way past from me being on. That's just from what I understand the history of radio. Black radio is community oriented. And I believe that it was so important to make sure that community is an aspect of what I do. And the fact that when I do go out to talk to people and I do see people out in the street, it's always not about, hey, Riecy, I remember from winning that prize. It's always about something that I said, whether it was something from the motivation or just when I was out recently, somebody said, I always lock into you. Thank you, because you keep us informed. And so that's what's important to me.
Absolutely. Now, because education is such at the top of the list in the Low Country and such as a challenge for a lot of young people, like, we have I would say a pandemic when it comes to education. Black and brown people should be being underserved, and people like yourself have one of the most powerful voices in the Low Country. And you see that things have changed in so many different dynamics when it comes to getting the voice out there. In your personal opinion, how can we sort of like bridge the gap with education and I guess making our young people say, like, they're, getting your education is one thing, like getting the basics out the way, but what avenues you need to get to if they want to get into your field of work or doing other things? What are some things that we can sort of help them get their minds back on track in your personal opinion?
Well, absolutely. What you said, education is priority, is key. I have a degree in communications, and this actually wasn't the field I was planning on going into. I used to work in the television film industry, and things happened in my personal life that put me on this journey and this course to be in radio. So I kind of tripped up in it, but I knew people that were connected to radio. And so I would say, if obviously through education is going to allow you the opportunities for internships. If you want to be in radio, to get the internships that come along with it when you're in the higher education realm, because that's going to get you in the door. That's going to get you an opportunity to be connected to people in the industry that can get you into getting you started in your career in radio. So we know we live in a who you know world. but you got to get in the door to know these people. And the best way to do that is through your education and doing internships. I know in high school, I'm not sure if they're doing this anymore, but we've had over the years where in high school, in summertime, they wanted some of the kids to come in and shadow. And we've done that. And that helped establish the relationships, because there's so many people over the years that have come in through internships through college because it was a part of their curriculum to take an internship, that have actually were hired. They were hired on a lower level because it's a skilled position. You can't just come off the street and come out and just graduate and be on the air. Now, obviously, if you're in higher education in college and you have a radio station at your college or a broadcast journalism program, those are the things that you can utilize those tools to do that. However, just like what you're doing, with the internet and all these other opportunities to host your own, so to say, radio show or your own show to showcase your skills and your talents as in personality or on-air announcer, that will help as well, because it's an extension of what we're doing. Obviously, we're more on the technical side of things because we deal with the music and the real world equipment and whatever. But as far as wanting to be on the air, what you yourself is doing is showing your personality, showing what you're about, and basically creating your own resume, so to say. You don't have to wait for the opportunities to come to you nowadays. You could create your own opportunities to show what you got to offer and use that as a real, that can help you.
Absolutely. You mentioned motivation speaking. You always doing that on a daily to motivate the people. When did you know you had that voice? I know a lot of times when people get into the radio industry, people say like, you know what, I believe that's you. But when did you know that Riecy G had a voice that people need to hear and the world needs to hear to make a difference?
It's funny you asked that, because like I said, I stumbled into this radio thing. I was not doing it at all, and I had no desire to do it. I did have, like I said, a degree in communications marketing. I had a background in that. And as I worked at the radio station, I was working as a marketing director. And I did that for several years. And I had no desire to be on the air at all, didn't want to do it. And my previous program director, he was like, "You're going to be on the air." And I said, "No, I'm not." And he said, "Yes, you are." And that New York came out of me. I said, "No, you're not. You're not going to tell me what I'm going to do. I know I'm not going to be on the air. You ain't going to tell me because I don't want to do it." And so it was a tug of war. It was a lot of back and forth over the time. And he just got on my nerves so bad. I said, "Okay, I'll do it." So while I was doing my initial duties as a marketing director, I also was recording and doing a little on-air stuff on the weekends. Back then, we had people that could do overnights. So I was recording overnights and then doing my day job during the day. And what happened was, it got to the point where he was like, "Okay, I need you. You really I need you to do this." And I said, "No, I'm good. I don't want to do this. I like what I'm doing behind the scenes. I don't want to do it." He ultimately, just to get him off my back, I did it. And so initially, when I first started doing the air shift on Z93 in the middays, I hate coming to work every day because it wasn't anything I wanted to do. I just did it. And I did not enjoy it at all. I was like, and then as I kept doing it, anything that I put my mind to do, I'm going to try to do the best I can and put forth a full effort. But because I didn't really want to do it, I was like, okay, I'm just here doing it. But as the months went by, people was responding to me and they was calling in and they was like, they liked me. I was like, oh, they like me. I must be doing an okay job. So then that was like, okay, well, let me put forth more effort. Look, if they like me and I ain't putting forth all of the effort, just imagine if I put forth more effort. And that's when I realized I had a voice. And that's when I realized, like, hey, like that, what was the saying back in the day? They really like me. And so I just kind of really honed in on my talent. I studied other people and the techniques and how to do things, but I created my own, because I'm just kind of shoved in there with really no technical training, like literally no technical training. I was literally thrown in the studio. It was like this big board and this is the button for that. And this is what you do with that. And this, I didn't know nothing about doing it, but I listened and I studied other people in regards to how they did things, how they said things. And I made it my own. I didn't copy anybody. I don't believe in that. You have to be real. You have to be who you are, but you have to also study people and learn the craft. And that's what I did. The people that came before me, I always show a great deal of respect to them and the work that they have done. And I studied what they did and So I was like, okay, that's how you do this and that's how you do that. And like I said, I made it my own and I infused my personality into it. And here I am today.
Now, looking back over these years and seeing how you've evolved, you've gotten a strong voice, a personality that can bring change not only to people that's in your environment, but people across the low country, and to be able to share your heart. Was there anybody in particular who was like, so your mentor that told you like, this is the pathway? You mentioned you were thrown into the wolves, but you studied and you watched certain people. Was there a certain person you say, you know what, I'm taking bits of this person's style or whatever their format, and I'm gonna revamp it to my own style? Was there any particular individual that you may have saw and said like, hey, I'm gonna do something like that, but be my own unique way?
Honestly, no. I can honestly say no, there's no individual, there's no particular person. There was one person I could say that gave me some advice. Shout out to Stevie Bird. Been in the business for 30 plus years. And he was like, he told me, he said, I hear you, you sound good, but you need to smile when you're talking. I said, what? Smile when I'm talking? He said, yeah, smile when you're talking. I said, okay. And I took his advice and then I started doing it. And I noticed the difference that when you're smiling, when you're talking, it comes across on airwaves. It sounds crazy, but people can hear it as much as me. Like, how can they hear your smile? Because you showing that you're excited. Like, I don't know. It's just hard but it really made a difference. It really made a difference. And that was one piece of advice that has helped me when I first was trying to like learn this situation. He said, you sound good, but I can hear you not smiling. I said, okay, well, I'll smile. Okay, I guess. But it does have an effect and an impact, and it really has helped me do what I'm doing to this day. And that piece of advice.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, you always smile on the radio. I know we hear you giving us your heart, leaving it out there. When it's all said and done, when you say like, hey, I'm gonna put the headphones down, put the mic away, what do you want people to, what the legacy, what do you want people to say about Riecy G when it's all said and done?
Just the fact that I was able to impact their life in one way or another, whether it's just something that I said, something that I've done, something that, helped them get through this crazy journey of life that we get through. And I hear that now, and that's what motivates me to get up every day and go to work and give the best that I got, because I know people are listening to me and they need to hear something. It's about, like I said, it's about entertaining, but that's what I want to leave an impact in my community, but also in people's lives personally, in some way, shape, or form. And I've had where people have called me and literally in tears, and I have some of those calls recorded. Obviously, I never played it on the air, but they called me and said, God must have allowed you, put that on your heart for you to say to me today. And obviously, I wasn't speaking to that one person directly, but something that I said that day touched their heart and touched what they were going through, their situation, and help them. And that's the kind of legacy I want to leave, to be able to make an impact in the community and impact in the lives of the people within the community.
Absolutely. Final question. I know God has been really good to you. He's given you a calling for your life, and you changed so many. And a lot of times, the Bible says, never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Let your yea be named, your nay be made. And the death and life and the power of the tongue. The final thing I want you to say to yourself, there are people out there that right now that are hurting during this pandemic. These past 2 years, people are still trying to find their way, and you're happy for where you are. You found your purpose. I know a lot of people can't say they found their purpose, they found their calling in life. Can you tell, I guess, a person who may be listening at this point how to walk up their calling, how to know that this is their realm or where they're supposed to be in? I know you seem like you got it all together, like you have all the tools together in the bag, and I know a lot of people are not happy where they are, but you're happy where you are. So can you share like how excited you are to come to work every day?
Child, I ain't got it all together, okay? I'm still trying to do my thing and figure it all out. But I'm very spiritual, as you said. You got to seek spiritual guidance, pray about it, be open, because if I didn't eventually open myself to this, I wouldn't be here today. Because not that I didn't think I could do it, I just didn't want to do it. And you have to be open to the path that God leads you on, because at some point you may have it figured out that you want to do one thing, but that may not be what you should be doing. And it could be the thing that you think is your purpose, but technically it's probably not your purpose. Because I thought what I was going to be doing and filming television, that was my purpose, because that's what I wanted to do. But God showed me, no, I got something else for you. And while I was very reluctant to do it, I opened my mind to do it and just said, okay. And I did it. And I didn't just do it, okay, I'm gonna do it for right now. I did it, and I improved myself to do it. And when I realized that he was using me to be a voice to people, and I realized that through the people and the feedback they gave me about the things that I said or the things that I did. And that's when I realized, okay, at this particular point in time, that is my purpose, and I'm living in my purpose. So you just have to be open to be able to receive what God is the direction he's going to place you in. Because you could pray for it, but that may not be what he wants for you, or that may not be what it's supposed to be for you. So you have to be open, and you have to be open and willing for change, whatever that may be. Because like I said, that's what happened for me.
Absolutely.
And I didn't think that 15, 16 years later, this is what I would be doing, and to do it, and not in a way to brag, but to be at the top doing it, to have the #1 show for so many years. When I came in, Z was always a big station, always a #1 station, always a top station, but I could have took it down. I didn't have to be that #1 personality, but I was able to maintain what the legacy of the station was, and to do it in a way where I can say, hey, I have put my stamp and my mark on it. But once again, I never dreamed of doing this. So just be open. And like I said, if you're spiritual, pray about it. The Lord will always lead you in the right direction, but you got to be open to the direction he's going to lead you in. And it may take you to some uncomfortable places, but, it's very challenging to be in a situation where you don't know what your purpose is and you're trying to figure it out. It can be very frustrating. Trust me, I've been there in my life before. And you just got to look, and if you're not a spiritual person, look at things that you like, that you see other people that you want to do, and try to learn more about it. And you don't have to go to school for it, because there's a wealth of information out here in this world with social media, YouTube. There's so many ways to learn about different things, because that's what I do. I just learn about stuff, even if I have no desire to do it. I want to know more about different industries, more about how to do certain things, because I'm a do-it-yourself type of person. If I can do it myself, I'm going to do it. And there's so many ways that you can learn how to do certain things, Look, if I can fix a car, I'll learn how to fix it myself. But there's so many different ways that you can learn how to do different things. And I think that's what you can really do if there's something that you want to do to find your purpose, and start moving in that direction. And no matter how small the step is, take that first step and take another small step and another small step, and you'll find along the way, you'll make progress into living that purposeful life.
Amen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first here, the Logan Power Show, the one and only Miss Riecy G from Z93 Jamz, home of the Low Country. Shout out to DJ Cass and all the family. They're doing some great things. I'm telling you, this lady here, tell you, she the queen of the Low Country, queen of the South. She gonna do some big things. And like we here to say, the Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide. Thank you, family, for watching us, tuning in, and we'll see you soon.
It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show.